Welcome to SC Conversation. I'm your host, Brian Mosteller. This week we're going to be talking to Kevin Koger. Kevin is over Greater Spartanburg Ministries. So Kevin, welcome to the show. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Greater Spartanburg Ministries?
Sure, thanks for having me, Brian. We're a multi-denominational, faith-based Christian organization designed to help share the gospel and also to help people through financial crisis.
Okay. Where are you located at?
We're on Asheville Highway. The address is 680 Asheville Highway, but it's near Spartanburg Regional Hospital. Mm-hmm. Before you get to Wofford, if you're coming from Business 85 towards town, we're on the right.
Okay. Now, is that your only location? I've been down there one time. It's a nice setup you guys have. Is that your only location, though?
Yes, sir. It's our only location, and it's a long building. When about 3/4 of it is a thrift store, the other part is a outreach center where we do our services for clients in need.
Okay. So who do you actually serve, Kevin?
Geographically we serve Spartanburg County, folks that have address in Spartanburg County. That includes, Spartanburg, the greater Spartanburg area, Landrum, Boiling Springs, Greer, Duncan, Lyman, Welford, Woodruff, those places. That's kind of the parameters of our outreach. But if people walk in the door and they have a need, we're not one that would want to turn anybody away. So.
Now, is it mostly people coming to you guys, or do y'all go out? Or is it mostly people just walking in the door and then you talk to them and see what they need?
Yes, sir. Some of the services we do have designated hours, and people come to us from the county, wherever they live or whatever, to seek out our help.
Okay. So where does your support come from?
About half of our support is from our thrift store. The other half is from grants. So we get federal grants, foundation grants from financial institutions in the county. We also get individual donations. Businesses support us. We do some fundraising. We have an annual event. It's a banquet that we use to help our budget raise money. But the thrift store sales is the most of it, about half, and we're very similar to Goodwill or Miracle Hill, some of those other thrift stores you might see with clothing, things you can use in or around the house.
Now, do people drop off at your site, or do y'all go pick it up, or how does that work, or is there a combination?
We do a combination. So we have a 16-foot box truck, and we go out to residences and pick up. It's a little. We have some guidelines a little more because of COVID-19, where we'll pick up things outside the home now, and bring them back. So we'll pick up food donations and donations for the thrift store, and our truck also goes out to retailers to pick up food for our food pantry service.
Okay. So what are your services to the community then?
Yeah, I'd mentioned the food pantry. We're partners with Sam's Club, Target, Walmart, the Second Harvest Food Bank of Metrolina. We use our truck. Our truck stays on the road 3 days a week picking up food for our food pantry. So our main service that we provide is giving out groceries to our clients in need. Right now we're doing a drive-through distribution because of the COVID-19, where clients stay in the car and we meet them at the car and we'll push a buggy of food out to them. But we have frozen, refrigerated goods, non-perishables, the canned vegetables, we have breads, the drinks, the sweets. It's a total package, that we're getting from the retailers and through donations. And we do a certain amount of purchasing for that too, to supplement whatever category of food we might be lacking on.
Sure.
We also do a clothing ministry where if somebody needs clothing, say they get a new job or they just need clothing for their kids or whatever, they can come get what we call a voucher and come into our thrift store and get a couple of changes for each member of the family as far as the clothing goes. Financially, for someone in need, we help seasonally in the winter and the summer with heating and cooling electricity bills. So we do that through grants, and we get grants through from Duke Energy, from the government, donations and those kind of things. For that, we also help with rent. And the other thing we do is furniture for people that lose their homes due to fire. Furniture and some basic essentials like a bed, maybe something to sleep on, something to eat on, a table, something to eat with, things to cook with like pots, pans, some basic things. And we're also a partner with the Corner of Hope in Inman, which is a furniture bank, and we do referrals to them for clients that come in looking for furniture.
Okay. So what do you think some of your strongest assets are to meet the needs of the people?
Our strongest asset, our ongoing asset, I guess, would be the food ministry, the groceries. You know, sometimes people need money versus the groceries, but if it helps to not have to buy groceries, it can help them financially too. Feed their family, keep a nutritious balance on their food at home. The financial things we do, you know, there's always a limit. We don't have an unlimited resource there, so the food is the biggest part that we spend our time on, and that we give out the most to the community. So
what are some of your current needs?
Our current needs, of course, we always need food.
Right.
You know, the non-perishables mainly,
Right.
not necessarily the frozen or the refrigerated goods. And we have those in three categories. Basically, breakfast and a breakfast item like a cereal or a grits or a oatmeal. Then we'll have another category we call pasta and rice. You know, kind of a carb type offering. And then the canned vegetables and fruit that we keep stocked in the shelves. So those are the main things we need. We can also purchase through our partnership with Second Harvest Food Bank of Metrolina. We can buy canned goods or frozen meats, whatever it is we want to buy food-wise, for 18 cents a pound. So some people don't realize that they'll spend more to give us a can or two of food. If they gave us the $1 bill, for example, we could buy 6 cans or 6 pounds of meat. So it's 18 cents a pound. So you can't beat those rates anywhere.
Right. Sure. Well, good. So, so how does your talk a little bit about your volunteer program? So, how does that work if somebody maybe wants to get involved? How much time does it take? Things like that. So, talk a little bit about your volunteer program.
Okay, we have two main areas, I guess, that volunteers will help us. One is in our thrift store, and the store is open 9 to 5, Monday through Saturday. So in any time during those hours, an individual or a group or a family, whatever it happens to be, that would like to volunteer can come in and help us sort clothes, hang clothes, do housekeeping type stuff to keep the store clean, and just assist us wherever we need help. As far as the food pantry goes, we have groups most of the time. Sometimes we have individuals or couples that might want to come in, but that probably needs to be scheduled, and I would be the contact there because we have a lot of groups coming in on the weekend that help us pack to meet the needs for the following week. And so having a schedule where they don't bump into each other.
Right.
We have a fairly large food pantry, but you get more than, say, 10 or 15 people in there at one time, it gets crowded.
Right. Yeah. So you don't want everybody in there, all volunteers in there at one time, right?
Right. And they'll pre-pack the non-perishable stuff, or put food on the shelves, restock the shelves, and organize things. Those kind of tasks is what we need help with.
So what about like other organizations like the police department, fire department, churches? Who all do y'all partner with to try to get the word out about Greater Spartanburg Ministries and get people, to come in that do need help?
The United Way sponsors there's a website and a phone access for clients in the county if they're looking for help. The phone number is 211, and you dial that like you would 911. Okay, and they can go through that service and say which county of the state they're in. They can state the need, whether it's, we need help paying our rent, our mortgage, we need legal services, we need shelter, maybe for homeless. So anything that they need. Most agencies and churches that provide these type of services that are out there that someone needs, or there's a database there, and they'll give the client a list of everybody in the county that they live in that does that service.
Okay.
So that's through the United Way. I think the website is www.sc211.org, I believe is what it is. You can do it online too. Okay. But we have as far as getting the word out, we have a Facebook site, we have a website, we put out an occasional newsletter. We got a sign out front, people going back and forth to work see us. And then churches in the community there refer people to us. Right. In Spartanburg, pretty much countywide, they'll refer people to us. Okay. Okay. All right.
Well, Kevin, thanks so much for being here, and we wish you the best of luck with your organization, Greater Spartanburg Ministries. And we'll put your link to your website and everything on our website, on our Facebook page. And we'll see you in just a few minutes.
My pleasure.
Thanks. I would like to take this time to thank all of the wonderful people and businesses who are sponsoring this show. When you visit the businesses, be sure to go in and tell them thank you for sponsoring SC Conversation.
Hardwood flooring is the most popular kind of flooring, and no one has a larger selection of hardwood flooring than Greer Flooring Center. Remember, you'll always find what you're looking for at the price you're looking for at Greer Flooring Center.
Hey, Upstate, Dave Ramsey here to tell you about our investing ELPs, Roger Sims and Jason Carr at Sims & Carr Financial Solutions. Roger and Jason are the only people I personally endorse for investing right here in the Upstate. They specialize in retirement planning, 401k rollovers, as well as mutual funds and other investments. I personally recommend Roger Sims and Jason Carr of Sims & Carr Financial Solutions. Call Roger and Jason today at 879-0337. That's 879-0337.
Hello, welcome to SC Conversation. I'm your host, Brian Mosteller. This week we have Jeff Farrington, head football coach at North Greenville. Jeff, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, tell us a little about your background, Jeff.
Originally from Greer, you know about that.
Yep.
And had an opportunity to get into athletics at a young age and loved it, and just kind of took off and ended up at the Citadel, and had no idea what I was going to do going there, and still had a good community of coaches that poured into my life. And when I left there, decided to go into that profession and to the coaching profession, and was fortunate enough to stay on as a graduate assistant there after I graduated, and have been in college since. Been at many different places. A lot of different moves, and but fortunate to be at North Greenville since 2013. Came back to the area in 2002 when I went to Furman. So it's good to get back in the upstate area. I love this area. My mother lives in this area, my brothers, and so it's just good to get back, and then still be able to locate in this area at North Greenville, a fine university.
Yeah, I remember when you came back here and went to Furman. You were a big part of those, a lot of good teams over there.
Mm-hmm. Very fortunate to be with Coach Lamb and his staff, and take part, and allowed me to get back in this area and make a lot of really good connections.
I will tell one story about you though, Jeff, because you were a senior when I was a freshman, Now you played football, basketball, baseball. You hit a winning shot at Riverside from the corner. You threw it up with like no time on the clock, and it went in. And then I think y'all went on to win state championship that year.
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
You said a key thing. I threw it up.
You did.
And that's what I did. I threw it up.
You did.
And,
you were in the
it
corner.
happened to go
Yeah,
in. So
I remember that well. I remember that well. So, thanks for taking the time to come and talk with us a little bit about North Greenville football. And tell us a little bit about what's been going on with NGU football during the COVID.
Well, that's a kind of a loaded question a little bit, Brian, but you know, it's just different. And that's probably the one term that you hear for 2020 is just different. And it's the same for us. Our guys, since the middle of March in the spring semester before summer, had to leave campus along with the student body for the most part, and in class went to online. They all made the transition to online class, and so you talk about college football. College football's year round, and of course there's a lot of high school programs. It's most of them are year round as well, and of course when you go to college at whether it's junior college, NAIA, Division II, Division I, it just amps up that much more, and the competition's that much more, so it's year-round training. And we were into practice number 5, I think it was, in spring, and we had to have a team meeting and say we were shutting it down, and then they ended up having to exit campus a few weeks later, and so we did not get them back on campus until when the student body reported 4 classes in the fall, which I think was around August 17th, August 15th. So they missed the whole training cycle in the spring, the opportunity to train together, or a big part. We do not have the whole team normally in the summer, but we'll have a good 50–60% together there the last part of the summer training before August camp. So really, going back to your question, I'm probably being long-winded, but there's so many things that has changed and that has gone on for us that it's amazing to see programs being able to play. It really is kind of having some type of idea of what they're going through. And because our Division II is not playing, they're not having a Division II championship, NCAA Division II championship even in the spring. So we're part of the Gulf South Conference, Division II football conference, and they have all sports, but in our athletic department, we're the only team that participates in the Gulf South Conference. So we're not playing, and we have had practices, kind of chopped up a little bit with some delays and fall break, and but we had declared our spring season in the fall. So we ended up getting 12 practices. Normally you can get 15, but we had 12, and most of them were just helmets and shorts.
Okay, but you were able to do
we were able to do a little bit. We've had some limited time in the weight room and limited training time, but we have been able to do that with some restrictions.
Well, what kind of protocols, have you guys put in place up in North Greenville for not only the players but for the coaches?
Well, the university had a task force, and they have been meeting since probably February with protocols for the student body, and then obviously sports medicine department was very integral in those meetings as far as with athletes, and our sports medicine is right there tied in with Prisma Health, and and they've done a great job. Our athletes have to fill out a COVID screening every day, to be able to participate, whether it's in the weight room, whether it's conditioning or training, or whether it's practice. They have to do that by a certain time each day. When they come down to the athletic facilities, whether it's football or any other sport, they're going to check their temperature, put a little band on their wrist so that everybody knows they've been checked. Coaches have to fill out a COVID screening type online sheet as well, just to try to help keep up with the symptoms and get some type of feedback going for our trainers to be able to double check and follow up with them. And so, you know, it's different, but
Yeah.
it's going well.
Yeah.
It's been efficient.
Yeah. Good. So how are the athletes doing from a class standpoint? I mean, this has got to affect them mentally. I mean, it has to.
It
They
does.
have to be down because they're athletes.
Yeah.
They want to be an athlete. But has it affected them in the classroom much?
Well, when you say effects, and I'm going to go a different direction before I go to the classroom, you know, you take athletics. Athletics is all about camaraderie. It's all about, I mean, you see as a fan, you see on the field, you see game day or whether they're on the court or whether they're on the track, but you do not see all the other hours that is most of the time that they spend in training. The amount of time that they spend on performance for the event is very, very minimal. And football-wise, locker room is a big bonding area. That's where, you know, I mean, our athletes, there is no locker room that's available to our athletes. We've operated in football all without a locker room. Our coaches take part in getting the equipment out on the field, whether it's their helmet and their laundry loop or whether their shoulder pads with their helmet. We got different areas that we put it and they switch it out right there.
Wow.
And the guys bring their own water. The guys, they can get their water bottle filled up, but they can't do it themselves. They just it's kind of like going to summer camp, day camp, to be quite honest with you. And but you do what you have to do, and these guys have handled it well. Academically, it's been a change for them, but they handle it well. You know, they went home, did what they had to do in the spring. Some of them took classes in the summer online, and then in the fall, they're, you know, obviously the university's got a mask policy. They got a mask in the classroom and mask on campus, and they've spread out and adjusted the dining hall facility and some of those things. So it's just different. And, you know, we can sit there and say, well, man, we're getting tired of it. We're sick of this or whatever, but you do what you got to do, and you just try to make adjustments and improvise and try to do your part. So we're constantly, our coaching staff has been great. Even when all this started, and we were very intentional through the summer to meet with them and Zoom meet with them all summer long, keep them together, communicate with them. Of course, a lot's been happening in our world that really, whether it was COVID or whether it was, you know, tension in the country and political tension, whatever. So we've kind of kept a lot of conversations going and a lot of interest.
Well, take a couple of minutes, Jeff. And I know we've kind of talked a little bit about some negative stuff here with COVID. From a positive standpoint, you've been very successful at everywhere you've been. NGU, very successful. What do you see the future of NGU football?
Well,
Forget COVID, just future.
Well, we're very excited. We think we got a really good program. We think we've recruited well. As I mentioned, we're in the Gulf South Conference. We've been in it 2 seasons, a top-notch Division II conference. The last 2 national champion teams have come out of that conference, and before that, the 2 runners-up the previous 2 years. So it is very, very strong. And we're trying to put ourselves in position where we can compete for a national championship there. We, as a staff, and we encourage our players, we're not about looking at the negatives, we're about looking at the positives, and you know, always excited to move forward. And you know, we've kind of had a couple rough stretch the last few years, but we feel real good about the direction we're heading and what we've got coming back and the excitement in the program.
Jeff, thanks so much for coming on the show. Love NGU football. It's a great place to be, guys. If y'all want to just take a day, an afternoon, a Saturday afternoon, a Saturday night, go up to NGU. It's a great place. You don't have to spend 4 hours trying to get in and out of the stadium. So, Jeff, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks again to our guests and our wonderful sponsors. Remember, you can stay informed about SC Conversation during the week on our Facebook page and website. Also, feel free to send us an email at info@scconversation.com. Thanks for watching and have a great evening.